Hello everybody, welcome back to Tropical Update number 56 on Invest 94L located over the western Gulf of Mexico, Invest 93L located over the Cabo Verde Islands, in two areas to watch, one north of the Bahamas and the other off the coast of Africa. Let's begin first with 94L. As we can see, convection looking better today, still not a great low-level center on this storm. Odds up from the hurricane center now to 90% within the next 5 days of formation. We are going to be watching everywhere along the northern Mexican coast, Texas coast, and Louisiana coast for potential watches and warnings as it rides that coastline and brings a whole bunch of rain as well as probably some wind as well. So as we watch this storm, all those areas need to be on alert with 94L. As we can see here, the models have actually increased their intensity predictions over the past few hours. And so we're going to want to continue to watch that trend as we could see a decent tropical storm, maybe even a Category 1 hurricane before this is all said and done, into what's looking like a central Texas type event, but still everywhere is in play from northern Mexico all the way to Louisiana. Like I said, and as we can see, especially on the European ensemble on the right-hand side, anywhere along that coastline is in play with this storm because it's going to be riding so parallel to the coast. So we'll talk more about this in the coming days for sure with a high degree of confidence in terms of formation and both impacts to the United States. As we see here, Invest 93L located at Cabo Verde Islands has a little bit of a rotation going to it, good amount of convection. Still not the greatest organized system though, even with all those things. The convection highly displaced from the center not complete, stuff like that. The Hurricane Center maintaining their odds at 50-70 for now, but we'll continue to keep an eye on this one. We could see watches or warnings needed for areas in Cabo Verde, but whether or not they're needed or not, we'll see exactly if that's the case. As we see here, the latest dynamical models keep this storm below tropical storm force. And the latest European ensemble towards the bottom of the screen hardly has any support for the system. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Hurricane Center still says a high chance. That's what we're going with. But again, no major threat to land outside of the Cabo Verde Islands. That area to watch north of the Bahamas could affect the United States coast. In fact, areas in North Carolina were certainly in play not too long ago, perhaps even the mid-Atlantic now, as we can see on the European ensemble, just off the coast there, and certainly on the west side of the island of Bermuda. And so we're going to be wanting to watch where this storm exactly sets up over the next few days. Hurricane Center with a 20% chance of formation on this one. Just something we're going to want to keep an eye on. Potential impacts to the U.S. uncertain at this point, but definitely possible as it stands right now. That area off the coast of Africa that the Hurricane Center is watching, with a 20% chance of formation in the next 5 days, has a very strong signal from the European model, as we can see here, a hurricane force tropical cyclone within the next week due to this storm. But the caveat here is the GFS model does not really produce this storm in the same way the European does. And so, and that's because it takes Invest 93L a bit stronger and a bit further to the south than the European, and that kind of gets in the way of this developing wave instead of helping it, which I'll talk about that when we get to the European model. And then we see another tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa 7 days from now. That's a fifth area of concern for us at the moment. But as we can see here, we see Invest 94L developing and going towards Texas, that area of interest in north of the Bahamas forming and then moving up. And we see Invest 93L forming and reforming kind of sort of in the central Atlantic, that African wave now just north of where I had it labeled towards the end of this thing doesn't really develop at all because, again, Invest 93L, where we're looking off the coast of Africa now, stays there and kind of blocks this wave, whereas that upcoming wave here at the very end, literally the last frame, or okay, last two frames, that L pops up showing that tropical wave. And looking at the European, it's a bit of a different story. Again, the the story on Invest 94L and the Bahamas storm stay about the same, but how these three waves interact here is somewhat uncertain. That third wave is kind of more agreed upon, that it's going to come off the coast in about 7 days from now, probably form. No major impacts though, but that's not even on the Hurricane Center forecast because it's past 5 days from now. The question is how 93L and that next wave interact with one another. The 93L gets in the way, that's going to inhibit how well this wave does. Now, if 93L kind of performs but doesn't overperform, what'll happen is that 93L will actually keep the dry air away from this African wave that the Hurricane Center has a 20% chance on at the moment, and bring that into a stronger, more southerly track into probably nearing the Leeward Islands, and then perhaps even the Greater Antilles, Bahamas, and who knows, maybe even the U.S. a week after this down the line, so potentially 2 or 3 weeks from now when we have impacts with this. So still a while out with any of these storms near Africa, but still 2 storms close to home that could develop within the next 5 days. All these things that we're going to want to keep an eye on as we continue to monitor the Atlantic, just past the tippy-top peak of hurricane season, and it's certainly not calming down anytime soon. I'll have another update out tomorrow afternoon and Monday afternoon. That's right now I have 2 days in advance schedules. If you want to stay updated, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button so other people can have their lives saved by these forecasts, or hopefully the forecasts of the National Hurricane Center. But the point is, people need to know about the danger of hurricanes, and hopefully that's part of what I'm doing here. That's all for now. Chris Dixon for the Catholic Media.